Hi, everybody. Welcome to Person to Vale.
Hey, well, everyone, it's nice seeing you.
Welcome in, everybody. Glad to see y'all here tonight. And we got a special guest, Taryn Kerper from Paranormal Brew. So if you haven't ever checked out her channel, or I believe she has Facebook page and all that stuff, so go over there and check out her page and her YouTube channel. And I think Jane put her link
Mhm.
in the chat. So if Gary or another mod wants to look up Taryn's YouTube and stuff, make sure you post her link in the chat.
And this is
So
the
do you want to
second
say hi,
time we've had
everybody?
her.
Yes, this is the second time she's joined us, and we're looking forward. We're going to be talking a little bit about unveiling Gettysburg, and we'll see where that leads us.
Ooh.
Maybe down a dark alley or a haunted house, or who knows.
All right. Heidi Pop and Good Ends, Lulu Bell, Bikes, Denise, Pixie. Who am I missing? Denise, Roger, Henry. Blazer was in here earlier. Am I missing anyone?
I don't know. It
All right.
shows 11
That's
or
it.
so, and
Well, welcome
well,
in, you guys. Nice seeing
people pop in, people pop out. So we'll just
you.
hi to everybody. There's Gemini Moon.
Hey, Gemini.
So we got some exciting news, exciting to us anyway. We just launched our merch store, and I pinned it in the chat, and James posted the link, and so you can go over there and check out our merchandise. And for tonight only, since it's our show and it's our first time mentioning it on our show, you can get 10% off if you use the discount code "Get Some," all one word, all lower capitals. Get some.
Get some.
So you can go over there and check that out. And also, it's a multi merch shop, so you can also get Geezer Geeks gear there and Robert Bauer the Nexus gear. If you click on the homepage or the main thing, you'll see links to all three of the sites. And so we're in combination with Professor Bauer and Geezer Geeks and us. So you can get some good T-shirts and tumblers and
Coffee
stainless
mugs.
steel bottle for water or whatever your beverage preference is, and sweatshirts and hats and all the normal merch stuff is there. And we'll be adding to it as time goes on. And so we put all the popular things, or at least what we thought was popular right now. And you can just check that out. And thank you if you order something, or if you just go there and just check it out. Thank you for that also.
Yep.
So, having said all that, and hi to everybody in chat, let's bring Taryn up and see where we end up going.
All right. We're going to Gettysburg.
Gettysburg. Hi, Taryn.
Oh,
Hi,
let's
Taryn.
go.
Hey.
Gettysburg. Good.
Well, welcome back to our show.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody in chat. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Thanks for having me back on. I love, I love spending some time with you guys. You guys watch my show. I love it. I love having you guys on there and chatting and everything. And so I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I really enjoy your shows.
Thank you.
That's usually the way it goes, at least with us anyway. I mean, if we have you as a guest and we also go over to if they have channels, or we check it out and we try to show up. I mean, it's hard. I mean, everybody sometimes have overlapping times and all that, but
Yeah.
sometimes we're multi-chatting. Sometimes we got a couple devices up and more than one going. And
yeah,
but we found you quite a while ago, and we were always in your chat and hanging out. And we love your guests that you have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just your live shows on, ghost hunting or Gettysburg. I mean, you do several different things. I really enjoy it.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm glad. If that's all that's all that comes out of it, I'm happy. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I do it. I like to share. I definitely like to share Gettysburg. So whenever I'm there, I go live, and No matter what I do, I can do it 1,000 times. Drive through the park, drive through town, do whatever. I always have, people that, will message me afterwards and thank me, because or they've never been to Gettysburg, you know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Some people have made, then made trips to go out because of what they saw on my show. So, I love that. That's what I love about you guys doing your show, me doing my show. People listen and watch, and then, hopefully people get something out of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially since you're going to such a historical town, not only with the Civil War, but it's just one of the historical towns that was there from a long time ago, from the beginning. So there is a lot of paranormal and stuff going on. Just without looking for a haunted house, there's this stuff there just because of the Civil War and the tragedy or trauma that's been there. And
right. And I mean, it's Native American too. It goes back far.
Oh,
far.
yeah.
Actually, they built a bridge, but one of the rocks they found to use to build the bridge, because those big boulders in Gettysburg, they used a lot of those to make the monuments. They used a lot of that to build there's a couple of bridges, but they actually have dinosaur prints in them.
oh wow.
There's 2 dino prints in on one
Wow.
of the bridges in Gettysburg too. So that just goes to show you that it does go way back.
Wow.
Civil War.
Hopefully those prints are prehistoric. Otherwise, you guys got a
no, they
problem
are.
there.
Yeah, no, they are. Yeah, right.
So, is
Yeah.
there much call for cryptids in Gettysburg? Have you heard of any cryptids or anything going on besides the paranormal?
Bigfoot. I've heard that
Bigfoot.
there's
Oh,
Bigfoot. I personally, this is probably not the popular opinion, but I don't. I've never come across any cryptids or anything like that. I will say I don't believe in the Jersey Devil for sure. I do think that that's the legend, a myth. I think there was a child born back, way back when, and was deformed back then. People kept their children like that out of the public eye, and I think just
Right.
over time, like the story grew. Bigfoot's. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I don't know if it is. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
I would have to, which I am going on a Bigfoot, my first Bigfoot hunt, and there's the Pennsylvania Bigfoot camping adventure coming up September 6th and 7th. Eric Altman is putting it on, and we're going to that. Me and the Peaches, we're going to be at that, so
cool.
it'll be fun. There's a Bigfoot
Yeah.
hike one night, so we'll be going up in the woods and looking for Bigfoots, and we'll see what happens.
I mean, that's kind of how we are. I mean, we haven't really experienced any cryptids or anything, but we do experience paranormal and stuff like that once in a while. It's like, okay, what was that?
Yeah.
So we're kind of open-minded. So if I can believe in hauntings or apparitions, so why can't I believe in a cryptid? It doesn't mean I've seen one or know 100% that it's real, but
Absolutely.
I leave it open to say, okay, I want to experience, not necessarily experience it face to face, but I want to know more about it. I want to hear people's stories about it because I'm intrigued with whether it's UFO, aliens, paranormal, the whole gambit. It's all got to be connected some way, I think.
Yeah, I would think.
Mhm.
Right? It's all, supernatural, unknown. It's I feel like it's all under the same umbrella.
Yeah. Because once
I
you
do too.
start doubting it, I know there's people that specifically chase UFOs or aliens or chase paranormal or cryptids, and they don't really, even in the cryptid field, they don't, Bigfooters sometimes don't believe in Dogman, or they don't cross very much. But it seems more and more as we do these shows, more people are open. Like, well, maybe a Bigfoot and a Dogman could be investigated at the same time, or
Yeah, you never know. And I always say too, this what we do, no matter what it is that we're searching for or what we're researching, what we're investigating, you kind of find your thing and you go after it, and that's where all your energy is towards. When I say energy, I mean like all your research, all your work. So some people look for Bigfoot, some people look for ghosts, like you said, some people are doing aliens, and not doing in a bad, you know what I mean?
right.
But who's to say? I mean, us as humans have to have a label for everything, right? And this field, what I was trying to say is like, for me, this field is based on belief, perception, what you believe, what you perceive, what whatever it is that you're seeing. So who's to know? Who's to say that, we're out ghost hunting, Jar, and you're like, I see a Bigfoot. I'm like, no, that looks like Casper. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we might see
Right.
something, but we might see it differently.
And that's the other thing. We don't know if it's a higher being or consciousness or whatever it is, and they can project whatever you want to see. So you might be interested in Bigfoot, so they say, okay, this is what they want to see, and this is how I can try to communicate or show myself. And they could project any image they would want, and especially in your mind, it might not even really be there.
Right. You never know. The mind's a powerful thing, right? So who
Yeah.
knows? I mean, all I know is, I have more evidence that ghosts possibly exist than skeptics have that they don't. Right. So,
Right.
How do you explain? I just had Ben Hansen on Friday, and I don't know if you know who he is, but he is on the show. He did the show Fact or Faked.
Okay.
If you remember that, where they would get.
I watched. We were in your chat. I watched your show.
It was kind of his on his end. It was like kind of choppy, but I think for the most part, people could get what he was saying. You know what I mean?
Right.
But having him on, damn it, I lost my train of thought. I hate when I do this, but I had him on, and he was saying, like what I have, like I believe. He's like, I believe in the afterlife, and I have these EVPs, and a lot of times people are, anybody can still question and say, how do you know that wasn't somebody in the room? Well, because I know, and nobody knows me, right? So like,
right.
How can they trust that? I mean, I know that what we caught. The cool thing is too, is that I don't know how this happens, but sometimes I can hear, right? I can hear responses. I can hear, and I'm always recording no matter what. I have it on. Even if I'm in a place and I'm spending the night, the recorder's on overnight. So I'm always recording. And, you'll hear, like, let's just say we're doing an EVP session and we ask a question and I'm like, oh, I just heard a yes. And I'll say it the way I heard it. We stop the recorder, rewind it. And you hear yes. You hear me say, I just heard a yes. And it went like this. You know what I mean? So there's validation and confirmation there that I really did hear, because, or else I would be thinking I'm crazy and I'm hearing shit,
Absolutely.
So having that validation on the recorder is a great thing.
Right.
I've also learned that when we're listening back, like, so I have a recorder going all the time. I have like 5 or 6 recorders. So one's going all the time. One, I'll have them in different places. And then one, when we're doing EVP, like my girls, the Peaches, a lot of them like to do EVP bursts, right? And we'll go back and we'll listen. And sometimes listening to the recordings prompt answers where there weren't answers. So like I'll get it on the recorder that's still recording. So my theory was that maybe they can hear better with the recordings, the way we can hear better with the recorder.
Right.
So they're hearing the question again, and then we're getting the answer on mine. I mean, the coolest thing that recently happened with us was now up until this point, it's always been caught on the recorder. There hasn't been any disembodied voices heard. And we thought we had caught. So we do an EVP burst. We're doing an EVP burst. We go back to listen. We thought we heard an EVP. So we rewound it again. And there was a question directed to a woman that died in the room. And we all heard, yes. Right. And I go, oh, did you hear that? Rewind that. That was an awesome EVP. Right. So we rewind it and we go back and then it's not there. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what the hell was that? So then we take my recorder that's recording, we rewind it, and you hear it on that recorder.
Oh.
We're like, we just all heard a disembodied voice right in the center of us while we're doing this, listening back to this recording.
Yeah.
Like, it was the coolest thing.
Wow.
Yeah, that was probably one of the coolest things that has happened so far with, doing. I don't use spirit boxes. I don't use the DR60. I don't use anything. I use just regular old recorders. I love Sony's, and I love what is the other one? Sony's and oh man,
There's a lot of. I mean, it could be Panasonic, could be.
What do we got?
no, it's a
Yeah, we got a Sony. Yeah, we've got a Sony.
Sony's are good, and what's the other one? It's my go-to, and I can't believe I'm drawing a blank right now.
Helper, Carol, use it now.
I
What's
don't
another
know.
digital recorder?
Let me say, I might have one in my bag here. Hold on. Anyway, so I use basic stuff. I'm not about all, like, I use some stuff, like I have
Use your cat.
my cat. I have Zeus. I was going to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, I remember watching this show with your guest, and he talked about using just a regular compass, like you take out camping. And
Yeah.
it's like that was the first time I ever thought
Mhm.
about that. I was like, real? Oh yeah, they should
Yeah.
be able
We
to move
bought-
that needle, and it's enclosed, so it would be other than a magnet, it would be enclosed from a surrounding, wind or people blowing on it or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went out and got 3 compasses after that.
Yeah, it's great.
Mhm.
I want to try to find an old school tape recorder.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to try to use one of those with using the digital recorder too. And excuse me, and seeing, what results would come of that if we would get, anything off of that we don't get on the digital recorder. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
who knows?
Right. It's amazing that a group of you heard the voice.
Oh my
Because
God.
a lot of times, even in the paranormal, one person experiences something, whether it's a touch or the coldness, or maybe even hearing a voice or whatever, or seeing an apparition, and the person next to you or the persons around you don't see it or say, I didn't see anything. I didn't feel anything.
Yeah, I mean, and we thought it was in the center of, like, we were in a circle listening, right? And we thought it came from the recorders, because it came from the center of the circle. So, because we thought it came from the recorder, and it was so loud, and we were like so excited. I was like, rewind it. And then when we rewound it, I'm like, where the hell is it? It's gone. And I was like, wait a second. What if that was a disembodied voice? Let me rewind my recorder. And you can hear all this going on, because I have 5, 6 recorders going. So you hear us talking, you hear us going through it. You hear us, like, rewinding and listening and getting like all excited because we actually caught something that awesome. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's, we had that happen one time at I'm only bringing this up because of what Jerry said about, like, only a couple people hearing here, this and that. I mean, I was live, and the live is up still, but I was at Selma Mansion with a group of 10 people. We were all upstairs in one room, and behind me, I was in one of the doorways, and nobody was, like, behind me, and I was live, and behind me, all of a sudden you hear this whistle, and I was like, what the hell was that? Right? And only one other person heard it. That was in the room. And I right away, and people in the chat could hear it, but nobody else that was in there heard it. The people that were watching the live heard it, and one other person in the room, like, that was in the building, heard the whistle. You go back, you can hear me saying, holy shit, oh my gosh, I just heard that whistle, we're talking about it.
Cool. That
was cool. And then I was trying to think, there's another thing that happened that I thought was awesome with so I mean, it's happened with, like, for me, like, hearing the disembodied voices, it's happened with so many different people that I've investigated with, even, so I kind of have that backup with people that, like, I'm not lying. What am I hearing? I have no idea. What are we hearing? What are we capturing? What are we recording? I don't know.
Right.
But there's something there that wasn't there, wasn't said, or wasn't, Another time I love Pennhurst, and one of my favorite spots in Pennhurst is the Rockwell Tunnel. And the Rockwell Tunnel there is, it's just, I've heard like psych screams and, all kinds of stuff. But we were working the Pennhurst Paracon, so I had a group of people down there, and there was probably maybe like 10 of us. And again, another thing, right in the center of all of us, we hear a sigh. And I was the first one to go, was that you? I said to the guy sitting across from me, I'm like, was that you? And he goes, no. I'm like, that wasn't you. And then somebody down at the other side of us was like, I heard that too. I thought that came from down here. I'm like, no, that was up here. And then somebody over here was like, yeah, but I heard it over here. So it was like, we all heard it, but we didn't know where it came from. And again, all on record. You know what I mean? So things like that, I can't explain,
Right.
And for me, that's what keeps me going. I want to try to find. Actually, I don't even know if we're ever going to find the answers. You know what I mean? Or get the actual truth of, you know what I mean? I don't know if we're supposed to know, right?
Right. You're trying to get proof. You're trying to get evidence. You hear stories from people, and you want to believe people's stories. You want to believe people's words these days. But so many skeptics are out there these days going, prove it. I don't believe it. That's just a story. How can you prove it? And, and you can't really prove it. Nobody believes your word of mouth anymore.
Right. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that, because I know, my biggest thing is integrity and being honest, and I'm not going to, I know what when I say I know, what I mean is, to me, I was there, I'm not faking anything. Right. So whatever it is that I am, that's being captured, I can't say it's a ghost. I don't know what it is, but there's something there that wasn't there.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? And what is it? I don't know, but I don't care if people don't believe me, like that's the beauty of free world, right? You can believe what you want to believe and not believe but
right.
Whatever.
And that's a good thing about your investigations. Not only do you have the audio, but you have your own senses, and then you have the video going all the time. So, I mean, that's about as much proof that you can have, without really knowing what everything is. I mean, like I said, there's so many things, even this in everyday life. I mean, you could see whatever run across the road, whether it's a deer or anything else, and people will believe you when you say a deer ran across the road in front of you at midnight on a back road or something. But if you say Chupacabra or something did it, here's Jane.
I'm going to turn off my thing. I'm just waiting.
Her speaker must have gave out. But I mean, they don't think twice about that, because people know what a deer is and they can believe that. But at the same time, they won't believe you that you saw something unusual. I mean,
yeah. I did see, I barely ever, I'm not a psychic medium. I'm not sensitive, anything like that. I'm just an investigator. So, I tell this story because I've seen something very strange, that I can't explain what I saw. I was on vacation, and we were in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and 12 o'clock in the afternoon, we're getting ready to go down to the beach, and I see the back of what looked like, if you ever saw American Horror Story, the first one, the haunted house one, where the guy was dressed all in black.
Yeah.
The black suit. I saw the back of that, like walking, and it had this like thin, yellowish light around it. And as it went out of view, because there was a wall here, and went like on this side, right? So as it went out of view, the dog that was in the living room came running into the kitchen to me, and I didn't realize I couldn't hear until I could start hearing again. So for those couple of seconds, I couldn't hear anything. And it was like the nails on the floor started to come, you know what I mean? Like I started to be able to hear again. I was like, holy shit, I didn't hear the dog running into the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like I didn't hear her the nails on the floor or anything. Now, mind you, I'm on vacation with my family who none of them are into the paranormal. So like, I'm like, did you just see that? I'm like, what was that? And everybody's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it was like, I'm like, forget it. Like you feel like I felt crazy saying it, because, I'm was totally sober, even though I was on vacation, but it was the crazy. It didn't feel like it. Wasn't feel. And actually, I'll be honest with you, it was so quick. It happened so quickly. Like there was no like threatening anything. I don't even know if it really even realized where it could see me. I didn't even know. I don't know. Like I only saw the back and it was gone. I do know that my instincts up until that, we were there probably 3 days before I actually saw it. I felt like we were being watched. And, I thought maybe I didn't say anything to anybody. I just thought maybe, in this big, huge house, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
sometimes can play with your mind, But after I saw that thing, that went away. I stopped feeling, I never saw it again. Nothing ever came of it. But I stopped feeling like we were being watched. Like I was being watched,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting.
I feel that in my backyard. I just know there's something out there. You just feel something. And it's not a rabbit. It's not a skunk. You just sense something out there watching you, and you just feel it. But you can't prove it. But you just sense something's off. You just know something's watching you.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way. There's nothing I have that could back up that story at all.
Mm-hmm.
There was no cameras. There was no record. I was on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing. I have no proof, of what I saw.
Right.
But I know what I saw. And I can't explain it. And again, I've never seen anything like it before that, and I've never seen anything since like that.
Wow.
So what was it? I have no idea. No idea, because again, I only saw the back. Like I remember it was so black. Like it was so black. It was so dark. But it had this like yellowish light around it.
Wow.
And it was a small yellowish light. It wasn't like this big glowing thing, where it was like, oh,
Right.
just this, and it was that quick. And I was like,
have you ever experienced seeing, you're in a pitch dark, but seeing the dark in the dark?
no.
Because I've heard stories of people saying that they see something dark in the dark, and I was wondering if you've ever experienced that.
I mean, I've like early on when I first started, and this is why when I first started, I thought everything was a ghost, thought everything was paranormal, everything, because I didn't know any better,
Mm-hmm.
So back then I thought maybe I saw things, or I thought, this and that. But did I? No, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's
Right.
I can't say for sure if I've ever seen anything like that. I know that and I can say that because now that I've actually saw something strange like that, I know that I've never seen anything like that before, for sure.
Right.
Now in the dark, I have no idea. I have better ears than I do eyes. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that's why I hear more than I do see anything.
I've noticed that in other paranormal investigators. Some have better seeing things. Some hear the disembodied spirits and the voices, and they got different gifts.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I have a gift. I think I just have
Intuitions,
good ears.
Good ears.
Good ears.
Good ears. I get bionic ears is what I'm told. Like so we went to, when we were in Gettysburg, I was with SRS Paranormal. They're from Tennessee. They met me up there. And we were there for the weekend, and it was just, we were ghost hunting the entire weekend. We had so much fun. We were at Little Round Top, and had Megan with me and Al, and they can back this up. They'll all back it up. They were there. But we were at the 20th Main Monument, and we were getting ready to do an EVP and, a little EVP session there, which can be hard, and because of how it's visited. But we were lucky that we were the only 4 that were at the monument, and we made sure we took note of people walking by or people that were up on, where up a little ways.
Right.
You can hear the difference, right? In the when you're listening to a recorder, you can hear the difference between a person and what could possibly be what we believe would be spirit, right? Or somebody from the other side. There's a difference. There's a difference in the wavelength. There's a difference in the sound.
Yeah.
So we're getting ready to. They get cigars out, which I think is really cool, because sometimes, when you use error cues, I like to call them error cues, where you either play Civil War music or you play, stuff like that, which is positive. I hate to use the word provoking, but it's just trying to, set the mood, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they're getting out cigars, and one of them says, something about, is it in the box? And then Al said, in the box, but in between them, I hear in the box. Right. So he says it, and then I hear in the box, and then Al goes in the box, and I go, hold up. One time I say in the box, and they're like, what? And I'm like, it happens randomly, right? So I'm like, I just heard in the box 3 times. And they were like, they looked at me and they're like, well, I only said it once, and I only said it once. So we stopped the recorder or rewind it, right? And sure enough, there it is. You hear it. And they look at me, they're like, oh, fuck, did you hear that? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And it's there, you hear him saying in the box, and you're in the box, and I said it exactly the way I heard it. And you hear them, and then you hear us discussing it. And I always like to leave that stuff in when I clip my recordings, to just clip the audio. I like to clip maybe, I don't know, I'll say like a minute before, and then maybe like 1 minute after, just so people can hear what was going on before and what's going on after. Do you know what I'm saying? Because I don't.
Yeah, we do that with our videos also.
Yeah. So
how do you explain to people why you're getting these voices on digital?
I tell
versus, not hearing it normally or on a regular, like a phone.
I honestly don't. I don't know.
And that's interesting. That it reminds us we got a 24/7 camera. Well, we got 8 cameras going, but one is always showing on the stream. And at night, we're seeing orbs and skyfish and rods and all kinds of different things that are not normal here. And I'm just wondering if the IR is picking up a higher dimensional being. So it's similar to maybe the digital recording. It's picking up a different frequency, different dimensions, I guess.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I honestly, I don't.
That's wild.
I don't know. I just know what I do know, the facts of what occurred, right? Like I know
right.
Of each situation. I know what the facts were in each, situation. I mean, but what, and like I said earlier, what is it? I have no idea. How? I have no idea. It's just, it happens.
Well, and I like that attitude that you're not an expert. You don't know. And you're telling people, I don't know. That's what we do. We don't know. I mean, we're experiencing these things, but we have no idea what they are.
Right.
I mean, that's really, except for your recordings, audio and video. I mean, that's all we really have is our senses. Is something affecting me physically? Can I hear it? Can I smell it? Can whatever your senses are, then if you have any kind of abilities or gifts beyond that, whether you have a medium or psychic or whatever. I mean, maybe you're attracting that to you because of your vibrations and frequencies, and that allows you to pick that up where other people can't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's just a guess to me.
Yeah, I have no idea. It doesn't scare me. So because I never know when it's going to happen. I mean, a lot of times it happens when we're not even doing EVPs. We're just like either setting up or we're talking or, do you know what I mean? So it's like when a lot of times it's when we're not even asking questions. It's just we're either, or we could just be sitting in I like to, if I can, which is hard a lot of times. but I like to get into a location, and if I can do it, I will lay on the floor and I put my arms out to the sides and I close my eyes and I listen and I smell and I try to because then if I do that for about 10 minutes, some people call it like a meditation thing. I can't meditate because my ADHD is like off the chains, right? I can't shut my brain down for 3 seconds, let alone, and then I'm all excited about being in a haunted location. I mean, that's like, but I try, right? So I'll lay on the floor and I close my eyes and I listen to the house. I listen to the location. I listen to the noises it makes. I listen to how it sounds when other people are talking and this and that. And I try to take that all in, because then when I'm investigating, I know it sounds different. Like, okay, I know that wasn't a normal sound. Let me go see what that is. Or
Right.
I know that wasn't, you know what I mean? I try to
Yeah.
do, it's hard to do, especially when you have, I mean, with the peaches, we're coming a mile away, we're coming, right?
Yeah.
We are loud, we are catty, we talk, we like, I mean, we're laughing, joking. So it's tough sometimes, but when you can, I say, that's a good thing to do for yourself. You know what I mean? Like for anybody to just really take it in and listen.
That's what I do in the backyard at night. I just sit out there. I do sometimes close my eyes because I can't tell you how many times I open my eyes and 2 feet away from me is a skunk. So I try not to close my eyes too much. But yeah, I just listen to all the sounds throughout the whole neighborhood. And when I hear a strange sound, I know that's not a fox. I know that's not a coyote. That didn't sound like an owl, but it kind of sounded like an owl. Yeah, you have to know your surroundings.
Yeah, we don't have coyotes around here. So if we had those around here, I probably wouldn't be going outside with my eyes closed. That's for sure.
Now, Roger asked about cryptids, and we already talked about this earlier about if you've ever seen cryptids.
I don't know what I saw in Myrtle Beach. I don't know what that was. That'd be the only time. I did go on a Bigfoot hunt, and now I'm kicking back what I said. I'm going on my first one, but I did go to Princeton one year with people who this groundskeeper, this I can't remember if he was. I think he was a security guard for some park they have in Princeton, and there was a picture captured of what looked like a Bigfoot. So this was when I was with South Jersey Ghost Research. We were at the ghost hunter store, and somebody came in with this photo. We were all like, yeah, let's go check it out. And we went up there. I still don't know what that's the only other time that I've ever went looking for Bigfoot. And nothing really happened while we were doing it, but we all were getting back to our cars, and I know earlier I'm taking back what I said earlier when I said I was going on the Bigfoot hunt. It was my first one. I totally forgot about this. So I'm taking it back. But so we were getting in the cars. There was 2 people already in their cars running. It was kind of cold out. And I just turned my recorder off, as luck would have it. And from where we just were, probably about a football field and a half away, this unidentifiable scream, screech, growl, something came from the area we were just at. Never heard anything like it before. And then it almost sounded like there was a smaller one. Either it was further away or there was a smaller one.
Okay.
And I was like, on that, I'm out. Got in my car and I took off. Not sticking around to see what the heck that was. No way. So I'm going on this Bigfoot hunt, and I go, listen, I'm telling you guys right now, if anything comes walking out of them woods, I'm out. I am running.
Absolutely.
So
try a cornfield in your backyard that you have no idea what's out there. I mean, I'll be in my backyard close to the house, but I do not get close to that cornfield at night. You have no idea what's in there.
I've seen way too many horror movies too.
Yeah. I was telling Jane,
and it's right in our backyard.
We've talked about this before about she doesn't like going in there, not only the spookiness, but spiders and all that stuff. Yeah. And I said, you know what? When I was a kid, we used to play hide and seek in the cornfields. We didn't even think twice about it. We just ran down.
No, when you were younger, I used to run through the woods and like it was there was no tomorrow. And now I'm like, ever seen Ever see Wrong Turn? Not going in the woods and stuff like that.
Yep,
Nope.
exactly.
Nah, I'm good. You know, we Hinsdale was, I mean, Hinsdale at night outside, whew, that's tough. It was very, I was scared. I'll be honest with you. We had a FLIR, we had a night vision camera, so we had eyes because we were able to use the night vision. We were able to use a FLIR. I still was uncomfortable outside, and then I was like, look, we need to go back towards the house a little bit because we were out. We were doing an EVP session where they had found unmarked graves. So we were a little ways from the house, but I couldn't get comfortable. I didn't feel safe. Then we hear what sounded like a huge boulder being dropped on dirt. If you can imagine hearing a thud like that, right? And I go, what the fuck is that? I was like, yeah, no, I'm not digging this. Let's go back. Let's go back to the house. So we're sitting out front of it. We're sitting out the house. I probably told you guys this story. And we heard a bang at the house. So I had my flashlight, and I'm like looking back at the house, and I'm trying to see if I see any of the girls. 3 of us were outside, 4 were inside. They were doing an investigation inside. We were outside, right?
Right.
So I'm thinking it's one of them. I never found what the source of the bang was, right? But I didn't care if this, because I go like this to go back, and all of a sudden my flashlight catches 2 glaring eyes, like glaring like if you're flat when your headlights hit deer, like
right.
Eyeballs, right? So I go, what is that? Now I had the FLIR recorders on my lap and stuff, and she's like, they're like, what's what? Now Megan and my friend and Kelly were out there with me. I go, and I pick the FLIR up, right? And I go like this to point the FLIR, and as I do it, the thing turns, and to me, it looked like a bear, right? I was like, I stood up, everything goes flying, right? And I'm like, that's a bear. I was like, it's a fucking bear. And my butt cheeks clenched so tight. A tear came out of my eye, and I ran over Megan. I was like, ran over. Because it started to walk towards us. I'm like, if that was a deer, it wouldn't be coming towards us, right? Deer don't do that. So as I'm seeing these go like this, and it's going, and I was out. I ran in there so fast. I don't know how they stayed out there. I was so scared. Like, that was the scariest I've ever been in my life. Like, I literally, and I didn't go back outside. And then we realized that all my equipment was out there. So I was like, I'm not going back out there. You guys, somebody can go get it, right? So I have like 2 hours of nothing but recordings from outside, and you can hear the coyotes, you can hear all this. I'm like, I'm not going back out there. That's the F that. I'm good. So
I hear stories like that. I hear people in this community say, I would rather go to LBL than a haunted house. Hell no, I don't want to do ghosts, but they'll do the cryptids. And then you hear the cryptid, vice versa. Like, oh, I'd rather do ghosts. No way am I doing the cryptids. It's just so funny.
Yeah, no, so my two of the girls that stayed out there, they said that nothing ever walked up.
Oh, wow.
Like they never saw anything. And by the time we thought about getting the video footage from Dan, because he has cameras up everywhere, they only keep the video for so many days or something like that. It was too late. So unfortunately there was because I was like, find the footage. I want to see what it was. I want to know what it was, because I swear it was a bear. They're like, well, nothing ever walked up. First they thought it was a deer. So they were like, it's Bambi, and then, but then they were like, well, nothing ever walked up. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So that was pretty, as if I got that scared over that, there's no way that I would be able to go like Bigfoot hunting. And if anything ever happened, I would be out. No way. I'm good with Casper. Let me hunt ghosts. Let me find ghosts. Let me, I'll deal with ghosts all day long. Nope. The UFOs and the cryptids, I'll leave for the UFOs and the cryptid people. I love them. I hope they find something one day, but it's not going to be me. I'm not going to find it.
Or do you still use your cat for your investigating?
Yeah. He's actually right here. I leave him out. I don't leave him turned on. But
I just can't believe we watched a show that he finally worked for the first time, and you got so excited.
That might have been
finally going off.
That might have been when I went down to Withville, Virginia, to the Octagon Mansion.
I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we had this out, and it's rumored that there are children there are children spirits there, right? So we had Zeus out, and he's just like a REM pod. He's like a trigger prop, right? So you put this on, right, and he, if you his collar lights up, his collar will light up when So you see how I don't know if you guys can see.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, I can see the collar. Yeah,
lighting up. So if he went off, then his nose goes off, and I'm like, oh, you're petting Zeus, and like, oh, I was like, why didn't you give him a hug? Try to pick him up. And the whole collar, then to me, that's like them. They were really trying to, there was so much stuff that happened during that live. Like
that was so cool. I love that live.
It's like 3 hours long. I asked so many people just to watch it because I'm not a techie person, right? So I don't know how to edit photos. I don't know how to edit audio. I don't know how to all the equipment that people use that blink and light up and do this and do that, I'm not very educated on that kind of stuff. So
right.
I leave that up and I'm like, please, people, watch it. Tell me what you think. Like, I'm not saying that that everything was spirit or ghost, but I want explanations as to how this could happen or how this would work. I mean, I know things that we heard with our bare ear that we got caught on record, and the way the equipment was reacting to us, and going off when we weren't addressing any spirit, the equipment was completely quiet.
Mm-hmm. So
to me, it just didn't. It was consistent with the conversation as well. So I don't know. That was probably one of my more memorable investigations because
I don't know if it was the same house that you went to, but you guys had the REM pods or whatever set up, and then you were talking about it. Nothing really happening right at that moment. And you guys, well, let's go outside or go to the next room, and then they just started going crazy. Yeah.
You guys left, and everything just went nuts.
Yes, that was when we took a break.
Yep.
I remember. Yeah, we took a break, but I left the live going. And I was like, let me know if anything happens. And that was the same one where when we were in the one room and we were getting all kinds of stuff. And then all of a sudden it went quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I remember saying, did you go in if you went in another room, let us know where you're at. Well, all of a sudden they have like this thing, they call it, it's like a doorbell thing where you push the button and it sounds like a doorbell.
Right.
All of a sudden that goes off in the other room, in the dining room. You have to push a button to make this thing go off. And all of a sudden you hear that. And I'm like, I look at him, I go, are you fucking with me? Like, are you what is happening? Like, why is this so I feel like we're just intelligently communicating with something. Like I thought I literally, I was staring at him for a minute, seeing if he was doing anything. He was sitting still as anything. And I'm like, John, are you messing with me? Is this really happening? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, this has never really happened before, So it was a really cool investigation. I highly recommend Octagon Mansion in Withville, Virginia, for sure.
Now, Raymond wants to know, have you ever felt one touch you?
I don't know. I don't know. Have I felt things sometimes? I have. But I can't say 100% certainty that it was something spirit wise or anything like that.
Right.
You see, I have long hair, right? So at any point in time, my hair could maybe, and when you're in the moment and you're investigating, you want to believe that that's what's happening, but I don't know. I've never had marks on me except for I was told at one time, one of my first investigations as an investigator, after I went through all this training, through 3 months of training, to be an investigator. And they took me on my first private house. And I remember my back at one point felt like it was burning. And they lifted my shirt up and they said that it was almost like there were like two prints like this. Now, they did take pictures. And I never saw the pictures. The girl that took the pictures said that they something happened to her camera. I don't know. I can't remember the details of it. I do remember feeling that, but again, I didn't see the photos. And I didn't look in the mirror. You know, I was a new investigator. So I was kind of like doing whatever they told me to do. You know what I mean? And just kind of trying to learn. It was a private house too. So I didn't want to jump up in the middle and have the people see me running to the bathroom, look at a mirror, or, you know what I mean? Like, it was just a lot going on. So can I confirm that? No. So
because sometimes you have experiences, whether you get in your own head and, you feel the tingling on your arm, like your hair standing up. So that could be you making your body react because you're scared or fear or whatever.
Yeah. So
but a lot of them, like you're talking about your hair, they physically feel their hair being yanked or being pushed.
I do. I say, touch my hair, touch my hand. Like I do say, please reach out and touch me. Or do something. But and it's never really happened when I've asked. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but like I was saying, usually the people that have the experiences definitely know because they get, pushed or shoved, or like your burning sensation on your back, they'll have visible scratches or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, unfortunately, this was back in 2011. So I really don't. I mean, there was a lot going on within the group as well. So I can't remember why the pictures never surfaced. But I never did get to see the pictures. So.
Well, that happens to us too, because Jane was out in the back field with our night vision, and she was visibly or sensing a portal, and she was getting it on film, and then all of a sudden the camera quit working. I mean, it would not turn back on for anything.
It fried out our ATN night vision binoculars. Yeah, I saw this square glitchy looking thing moving along the tree line, and I was getting ready to record it, and it fried it out.
So if we were able to capture it, that footage is lost because they could not.
There was no footage.
They couldn't repair the camera or anything. They had to actually replace the night vision.
You got to go with the word of my word of mouth. I mean, that's what I saw, and
and
the binoculars went out.
And that's why it's so important to always be honest, right? Because you want people to be able to take your word for things that you say, especially if you are being honest, right? So that's why integrity is number one for me. Making sure that I don't put my stuff out there, because again, it's all interpretation. It's all it's interpretation and what you believe, what you perceive. So sometimes I'll put EVPs up, you know what I mean? But I only have what is believed to be one apparition photo in all the years. Now, I didn't see the apparition; he just popped up on the camera or on the photos. It was a digital camera, so it wasn't from my phone or anything. It was a Sony. I think it was a Sony digital camera, and this was in Gettysburg, and it was. Hi, Ajing. Ajing's from Indonesia, just so you know. So,
wow,
nice. She's awesome.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, she's actually a famous actress in Indonesia. So she's and her father. Correct me if I'm wrong, but her father was like a famous musician and all kinds. So she's a good friend and a good follower. She supports everybody.
Oh, thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry.
That's all right.
But yeah, so I mean, what was I saying? I forget what the heck.
We're talking about being honest and being upfront.
Oh yeah. Oh, the photo in Gettysburg. So yeah, it's on the railroad. But again, I sent the picture. It took like a year I sent it to Mark Nesbitt. I sent it to a place called the International Museum of Spirit investigation. So they had like this, it was like this, just to get their opinion. And it took about a year for everybody to get back to me. They, people went out and tried to recreate it, I guess, and this and that. They came back and they mostly, I mean, nobody can say 100% what it is, but they thought 99% it's an apparition, so, but that's it. In all the years I've been doing this, I have one photo.
Wow. I know we've talked about this before, but we had kind of a similar experience where people were telling us, okay, we see a little boy or something behind you, or they say, okay, I just heard a voice. And it ended up being Jane in the other room reading the chat saying, little boy.
Yeah, someone in chat was, because we were having things happen to that gun picture, and people were actually seeing like a face or something glitching in another show. And so in chat, someone was talking about an old man and a young boy, and it clicked on me about that other show. And I'm going, young boy. And I'm kind of whispering, well, this whole time we thought, well, did we just hear something? Well, I never looked at my camera. I kept looking at his camera, and I saw my lips going, young boy. And I'm going, that was me. So I proved, we try to do everything.
See, and that's okay. It's okay it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to, there's plenty of times where, in the moment you think you captured an EVP or you think you captured something. And when you go back later and you go, oh, you know what? That's okay. That's okay. You'd be wrong. It's okay.
Right. So we did the same thing. We told them, okay, we realized it was us doing it, inadvertently. And even the next show we did, we talked about it a little bit and saying, okay, for anybody that watched the last show, that we came across the footage and watched it and realized it was Jane reading the chat, and we captured it, and we thought that was something paranormal, spiritual, but it wasn't. It was us.
Now the things coming out of the wall and going behind his head and whooping down, we still don't know what that kind of stuff was. I don't know if they're fairies, or we were having some strange things happening behind us in this room.
So if we like, for instance, here this summer, we've had some flies or a gnat once in a while. So if I see one fly in front of me, I tell everybody, okay, if you see something going in front of me, it's probably a fly. I haven't got them yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing in the chat here, somebody said that they have yet to take a Gettysburg trip. Had one planned but had to cancel. Oh, you got to go. It's literally not for nothing. I mean, if you're somebody that loves nature and loves history and loves, like, I mean, you can become, it literally swallows you up. I can't wait to move there. I'm moving there.
You are. I know you wanted to, so you actually are going to move there.
Well, I say that because I'm trying to make it happen. Right? Putting it out to the universe. Like, I'm moving there.
Are you going to get married there?
No, I'm actually getting married in Vegas.
Oh, I thought you'd get married there. Oh, wow.
Nope. Little White Chapel, Elvis, the whole thing.
Yeah.
They still is the pastor still Elvis? Still? Oh, nice.
Oh, that's going to be cute.
Yep. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. I've always wanted to do it. And it was I invited my close friends and family and to Vegas, because we are going to come back and have a party and invite other people, you know what I mean? But I invited close friends and family. And surprisingly, everybody has said yes. So there's like 27 people going to Vegas.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh.
I know it's going to be something little,
I don't know how many people the little chapel holds.
Yeah, well, so the Little White Chapel is up to 20, and so I had to move it to the Amore. It's still connected to the Little White Chapel. It's just a bigger area.
Bigger venue.
Yeah. So
well, there's a lot of stuff that happens in Vegas too. So who knows?
Yeah,
who knows? There is a paranormal museum out there, and we're gonna go to that. There's a mob museum. There's the Hoover Dam, Grand Canyon.
Aliens.
Yeah, so there's a lot. Thank you, Val.
Val, yeah.
Congratulations. And that was 2 months ago? How long have you been engaged? Was it 2 months ago? 3?
May.
May.
When you went to Europe, right?
Yeah.
We were in Italy, and he proposed on top of Mount Vesuvius.
I saw that on Facebook,
And it didn't. And it didn't erupt.
And it did not. You know, it still smokes. Like there's still smoke coming out of the side of that mountain. Like, I mean, it's
Oh,
crazy.
wow.
It is incredible. Pompeii, incredible. If you ever get a chance to go to Italy, go. And my goodness, it is everything and more of what you would expect. I mean, I was
Right.
walking on streets that were built in 1100. You know what I mean? Like, and the Pantheon was built 27 years before Jesus Christ was born, and it's still standing, and it's insane, the history.
Wow.
You know, we think we have old stuff here in you know, in the States, but God, no. I mean, it's crazy. The history over there. You know,
That's a good question.
when did you become interested in investigations, and how do you start it and get the team? So I've always had an interest in the paranormal. I was afraid of it up until I had my first experience older. But I started investigating in like amateurly in 2007. I watched Ghost Hunters when they came out in 2004. When my dad passed in 2000. And that's when I started to look into that side of things, because I started to watch John Edwards, the psychic medium, John Edwards.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He used to have a show called Crossing Over. And when my dad passed, you know, I was really looking for something, you know what I mean, to help me through that. You know, I went to different churches. I started watching that. And then that led me, you know, to Ghost Hunters, and me and my sister and her boyfriend went to back in the Pine Barrens and did some stuff looking for ghosts. I knew nothing about the Jersey Devil at that time. And then there was a ghost hunter store in Mount Holly, New Jersey. And I went in there, and the owner of that had a team, South Jersey Ghost Research, and eventually convinced me to sign up and, you know, do this 3-month training to be an investigator with the team. And I was with them for probably, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years, 5 years, maybe, before I went off and just was independent, you know, and just did my own thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it kind of finds you.
So previous to that, though, as being a kid or a teenager, you didn't have an interest in anything like that, or
I was afraid of
books, or
Too
you're afraid?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I had like, you know, scary stories to tell in the dark. I would watch horror movies and ghosty stuff, and, you know, like I was interested in it, you know, or I was curious, but I wanted nothing to do with it. I was afraid of it.
Right.
You know, so at night I'd sleep with, you know, light on and music on, and my back to my room, you know, because I never wanted to hear something. I didn't want to see anything, and I just didn't want to experience it because I was afraid. Looking back now, I did have experiences here and there. But you know, when you don't know what it is that you're experiencing, there's not that many people to talk to about it, number one. And number two,
Right.
you know, you kind of just keep going. You know, you don't, you know, at that time, like I said, I had no interest in it. So I wasn't trying to find out what that was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I wasn't talking to people about it, you know, and I honestly didn't know what it was until I had my training. And then I look back and I'm like, oh, snap. Okay. Could have been something paranormal, or that could have been something, you know, unknown, you know, and so.
Well, you know, it happens a lot. You know, they say, you know, when you're born and you're in adolescence, you know, you have these gifts, and a lot of, you know, where imaginary friends come to, it could really be a spirit or a friendly that comes up, and you have the friendship as a child. But then, like you said, you're afraid or don't know who to tell anybody about it, or it's just natural. You think, okay, everybody else can see it, and it's just my little friend, or
No, you think it's normal. When the paranormal becomes normal.
Yeah, so I remember I finally said something to my mom, because one night I came over to her house, and I was sleeping over. So so she was in bed with me, the dog was in the middle, and I was on the end. And I was falling asleep, I was falling asleep. And I remember the dog woke me up because she literally leaped over me and jumped off the bed and started barking. And I looked at her first. I'm like, you scared the shit out of me, and
Speaking of scaring the shit out of you.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
it's a ghost. It's a ghost.
So everybody sees that, right?
He just stole a cat.
He stole my cat.
He just stole a cat.
It was a flying cat. But
what cat? I didn't see a cat.
What cat? Yeah.
So I look over her and I'm like, oh my God, you scared the shit out of me. And I look up and there was this black mass over top of me, like above me. Wow. And I screamed and I kicked my foot up in the air, like just out of normal human reaction. I was like, ah! When I kick up, my mom sits up and she's like, what's wrong? I was like, I just saw something over, like I was like, right. I was scared. I was like, what the hell was that? And she goes, oh, that's probably just Brad. I'm like, what?
What?
Brad?
I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah. She's like, there's a ghost in the house, but I call him Brad because she used to love Brad Pitt. So she's like, so if I call him Brad and I think it's like Brad Pitt, like I look at, then I'm not scared. And I'm looking at her. I'm like, when were you going to tell me this? Like, and she's like,
wow.
So stuff like that, right? Stuff like that, you look back and you're like, oh, maybe I did experience. Like at the time, you just kind of talk about it and then you're just like, okay, whatever. You move on from it and you don't talk about it again. But that was one of the times. There's another time I was little. We used to go to a place called Atzion Lake. It's cedar water, but it's a lake. My mom used to take us all the time. Every weekend we would go. And that is also located like near Batstow and the Pine Barrens. I live very close to Batstow and the Pine Barrens and everything. So I look down. Now, at the time, you don't think about these little things, but like I look down and mind you, it's cedar water and I'm up in the water, probably up to my waist. I can't see my feet, but I looked down and what I thought I saw was a dollar bill. I was only like 7 or 8, 9, maybe. So finding money was cool. Right. So I went underwater to grab the dollar bill and I had my eyes open. Yes. Gross. Cedar water. It's, it's not, it's hard to see through, but I wanted to try to find the dollar. And when I went under, I remember I can see this kid's face clear as anything. This kid was swimming at me at a rate of speed that I literally I underwater, I was like, oh, you know what I mean? And literally like water went in my mouth. And I remember he had black hair and his nose. I remember his nose was literally out to like this fat, like out to here. Like it was huge, like this way, not out this way. It was flat, like out this, but he was coming at me and I jumped back out of the water and I was like, oh my God. Like my first thought was, that was his money. And he, I was going to wait to apologize. I was waiting there for him to come up to be like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that was your money. Nobody ever came up out of the water.
Wow. Huh.
That's the earliest thing that I can recall. That was strange. That strange happened. I literally stood in the water and I was like, what was that? And nobody ever came up out of the water. It was crazy.
Oh my God.
So, yeah. So it's things like that where you look back and you go, oh, okay. Like I did have something strange happen when I was little, but now ask me if I see anything now. No. I'm looking for it.
Oh my.
Well, have you seen or heard weird things around Gettysburg, like cannons going off or horses at night? Those type of noises?
Oh, yes. Yep. You can hear cannon fire. I heard a snare drum one time.
Oh, wow.
Really cool. I was at Little Round Top and I was just sitting there and all of a sudden you heard this, as if, and I was like, oh, I just got chills thinking about it because it was
Oh,
really
wow.
cool.
Yeah, like your drummer boy
Yeah.
marching. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
You
cool.
hear people. I've never heard it, but people have claimed to have heard the stones being stacked on the walls in the middle of the night.
Oh,
Yeah, which is really cool. Another little round top story. I was there by myself and I was sitting up there doing an EVP session and thinking globally, not I'm at the 20th Main. I said, "Are you from Pennsylvania?" And when you listen back to the recruiter, you hear, "No, Maine."
Oh,
ha.
oh,
I was
wow.
like, "Oh my goodness." And I kept thinking to myself, if I would have said, "Are you from Maine?" and all you got was a yeah, that's questionable. It could be anything. People are like, "Oh, is this or is that?" It could be you moving your jacket, or maybe it was the wind. But
Right.
to hear no Maine, and I'm at the
Right.
20th
Yeah.
monument, like I was like, that's insane.
Wow.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Because I've heard other stories of people hearing, like, horses, or the horses running, hearing cannons. And what's wild was Jessica Jones. Actually, she's in chat now. Her and her son would hear cannons, but people around her, they weren't hearing them.
Yeah.
They were the ones that were hearing the cannons.
Yep. We've heard musket fire. We've heard now. One thing you have to keep in mind, like, and I wouldn't know this because I don't know guns. So I had to learn the different, between a shotgun and, what I mean?
Right.
Because hunting happens up there. I mean, or people they have large farms. So people practice shoot, and this and that. So
Right.
that's one thing you have to keep in mind when you're hearing stuff like that. But musket sounds different.
Yep,
A
absolutely.
musket sounds different than a shotgun. And so, you have to keep that kind of stuff in mind. And cannons, like I go to the reenactment, so you know what the musket sounds like, what the cannons, even though it's not, they're blanks, but you can still hear, the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love Gettysburg. And maybe that's why the spirits are so plentiful to me, because I go so much. I feel at home.
Do you
You
think
know,
it was in a past life that you were there at Gettysburg at one time?
there's something.
Yeah. Something
There's
is drawing
something.
you there. Mhm.
I was even history wise, like I hated history in high school. I had to take the same history course 3 times because I just was so bored with. I was like, I hated history, and so I knew nothing about Gettysburg before I went to Gettysburg. Knew nothing. My mom drugged me there. I went grudgingly. She wanted me to go, and I was like, "Oh," I'm like, "What's in Gettysburg?" You know? Lo and behold, I step 1 foot, and I'm like, "Where's this place been my whole entire life? Like, where has this place been my whole entire life? Why is this the first time I'm coming to Gettysburg?" And it's just been I go at least once a month, and I try to get there as much as possible.
Wow.
Well, hopefully you'll get a move there soon.
Yes.
That's what I
Maybe
keep saying.
maybe
I got
your husband to be will surprise you and buy you guys a place there when you get married.
Yeah. A
I got
honeymoon
the
gift.
coordinates even tattooed on my, and I'm like, so I'm trying to like will this to fruition here,
There you
I'm
go.
trying to get it out there.
It will happen.
I love it there. If anybody in the chat has never been, you have to go. You have to see it at least once. It's amazing.
Definitely a historical site and a lot of history there.
I mean,
Let
even
alone
surrounding, like,
paranormal.
yeah, I mean, but even surrounding, like, you're 45 minutes from Harper's Ferry, you're 45 minutes from oh my gosh, what's the other one? Antietam. You have Cashtown right there, where the Cashtown Inn is, and you have the Fairfield Inn, which now has changed its name, but also a bed and breakfast, and it's beautiful. I mean, there's just so much to do. I was out there for 10 days by myself, and I didn't want to leave. Like, I literally was, and I still go, and I'm still learning. I still learn new stuff. The other day I stumbled across a women of the Revolutionary War
Oh.
cemetery.
Oh,
for
wow.
women of the daughters of the Revolutionary War, or whatever.
daughters. Yeah.
Daughters. I'm sorry. Ironically, shortly after I found out I was a daughter of a revolution, I had I have a sixth great grandfather and a fifth great grandfather who were in the Revolutionary War. I found that out.
Oh,
And then I stumble across this little cemetery on the side of the road in Gettysburg, that's like Daughters of the American Revolution. And it's like all these women buried in this cemetery. It was amazing.
Wow.
wow, that's so cool.
Well, Taryn, I think this would be a good time to end this conversation. We'll have to have you back for another one.
You got it. Yes. Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, everybody in chat, thank you for being here and showing up tonight. I tried to bring up whatever questions you had. I'm sorry if I didn't get everybody saying hi to everybody up on the screen, but I just wanted to pay attention to Taryn and listen to the stories and experiences she had. And it's just been a great conversation. Loved it.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Can I plug really quick?
Yes. Go right ahead.
Yes.
Paranormal Brew is my normal is every Wednesday. I'm booked through October right now. So, but yeah, check it out. It's everything. I locations and UFO, whatever. I have people on. I just had Ben Hansen on. I've had just about, Jay Halls has been on, and all them guys have been on. So it is a good show. I like to say 7 years. April 1st will be 8 years that I've been doing Paranormal Brew. So it's every Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, for anybody that is watching. Sometimes I do Sundays, and I'm a part of Paranormal Peaches. So we go on adventures and ghost hunting stuff, and I'll go live. I do live investigations on Paranormal Brew, or I'll do live drive-throughs for Gettysburg. So yeah,
that's what I love.
Come join me. And it's not for me. I always say I don't do my show for me. It's for the people that I have on. It's for the locations. It's to help, for preservation of historical locations, or help get the word out about great groups and great podcasts and all of it. So
I enjoy the Gettysburg tour because, like I said, I've gone out east, Pennsylvania, but I've never gone any place like that. So, I was glued to my tablet those 3 hours. You're just going to this place and that place, and I enjoyed every single moment of it. It was amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I do. So thank you. You guys are great.
Oh, you're great too. So everyone go check out Taryn and go subscribe to her channel.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
But we recently launched our merch store. So if anybody would like to go to it, we have it pinned at the top of the chat in YouTube. So it's
within the next few hours, it won't be a discount anymore.
Yeah, we have a 10% discount just for tonight for the launch. So it ends tonight. And if you put in the coupon code area, if you put get some, all lowercase, one word, you'll get 10% off your order tonight.
Get some.
And also the other show that we're involved in is Geezer Geeks. That's on Saturday nights. And so we have merch for Midwest Night Watchers. We have a separate section for Geezer Geeks. And then Professor Bauer, who is in chat tonight, he has his section because it's his website. So he's hosting our merch store for us. So he has Nexus gear on that also. So it's been shared in the chat and it's pinned at the top. So we'll be sharing it. And please go check it out.
Yeah.
So having said that,
we'll see everyone next time. And I can do the heart, and it's not going to interfere with the.
Nope, it's only set up on the other side.
Yeah, the other camera, hearts come up.
Yeah, I know it does that on the phone too. On my phone, it doesn't do it here. I try to do it, and it doesn't happen.
Oh wow! Yeah, it doesn't do it on his camera, but it does it on mine over there. But then my camera freezes up. So here lately, I haven't been doing the heart, so I can do that again.
So, all right, everybody.
We love everyone.
We love you all in chat. And we'll see you next time.
Good night.
Keep looking.
Keep your vibrations high.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.